That ain't shit. I spent $600 at dinner. So I'm sorry, your six-figure job and everything else don't mean shit to us. I could pull $600 worth of shit and throw it at this camera right now.
Kevin Samuels was not wrong for what he was saying, but it would only apply to the top percentages of men. Guys, I need you to pay attention to this. Do not get offended at what I say. I just want you to understand something in regards to what Kevin Samuels meant in regards to this message here.
About your money. We don't care about your money or your careers. Let me tell you ladies why this doesn't matter. Because we don't have access to it anyway, and you ain't gonna be spending it on us. So your money doesn't.
Why would you say that?
Who in general funds the relationship?
I would say men in general.
Right. What's the most you've ever spent on your man that's not a birthday, Christmas, or anniversary type gift, just on a Tuesday?
I spent a Tumi bag that I bought for, and it was like about $600.
$600. That ain't shit. I spent $600 at dinner. So I'm sorry, your six-figure job and everything else don't mean shit to us. I could pull $600 worth of shit and throw it at this camera right now.
So I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this message flowing around in regards to Kevin Samuels saying that a woman's money doesn't matter. But you have to remember that when Kevin Samuels was conveying that message, he was talking about the top 18% of men. If you guys don't know, in the United States, only 18% of men earn over $100,000 a year. So I see a lot of guys in these spaces, they'll say, hey, a woman's money doesn't matter. A woman's money does actually matter for the majority of men because of the fact that it is needed to sustain a healthy household. So let me just give you some quick statistics in regards to what I'm talking about so you guys don't get offended, because majority of you're going to need your woman to work full time so you can sustain your household. And this is not to give women a one-up to say, oh, men, you do need our money. No, because we all know that women, black women in particular, make less than black men. So a black man's money is necessary to provide for a household as well. So that shouldn't make any difference to what I'm saying. So like I said, 18% of men earn more than $100,000 a year. 45% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck while earning $100,000 a year. So even if you get a man who earns over $100,000, it's not a guarantee that he's going to be in debt or not. And that goes for both men and women. Despite the common belief that more money equates to more stability, nearly half of all Americans make over 100K are struggling to pay the bills. In fact, the number of Americans earning over $100,000 who live paycheck to paycheck has increased by 7 percentage points between 2021 and 2022. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, guys, for me to sit there and say that you do need your wife's money to sustain a household, because it's actually true. You're not alone. The majority of men use their wife's money because they need to sustain a household. And that also goes into women thinking that they're going to be somebody's housewife and not pay any bills. That is very rare. I've already shared with you guys that 72% of black women are in the workforce. And also, you can add an additional 20% to that that accounts for the women that are actively looking for work and are able-bodied. So that bumps that number up to 92% of black women in the workforce. So if men need a woman's money to sustain a household, and women, overwhelming majority of black women work, what does that tell you? We need each other. Does that make sense? So I know it sounds like a dig, or it sounds good to run with the narrative by saying, hey, we don't need your money because you're not going to spend it on us anyway. No, the majority of men actually do. You do need a woman's money to sustain a household. If you go back and look at one of my previous videos where I broke all this down, they have statistics on how much it costs in each state for a family to live. And for you to live somewhat comfortably, you need to be making at least over $87,000 a year. And if you combine a black man's income and a black woman's income, you know what that equates to? $87,000 a year. And that's you, the husband, and a kid. Now, if you start making, having more kids, you're going to need a little bit more money to live comfortably. And when I say comfortably, I'm not talking about the amenities of a relationship or being the livable wages, because the way that they defined living wage is the living wage is also known as the livable wage, is the income required to cover basic family needs without reliance on outside assistance. Calculating living costs helps communities and policymakers better understand how much families must earn to maintain self-sufficiency and a minimum standard of living. So this is what basic needs are. And I think we need to put these things into perspective when we have these discussions. Basic needs include food, housing, transportation, insurance, utilities, childcare, taxes, and inflation. However, it does not include vacations, dining out, savings. They are not included. So if you want those other expenses, then that may be where your wife's money comes in. Because I always hear women say, well, I'll take care of the vacations and the savings and the investments with my money. Okay, cool. Do that. But just know that that's what you're responsible for. And the husband takes care of the other things. And you guys come together and you become one happy family. Because if we keep having this argument to try and throw it in each other's face by black women saying, hey, black men, you need our money to sustain a household. Okay, cool. But you need us as well. And also, black women, like I said, you need to understand that it is a very small percentage of women who are able to be traditional housewives. That's just how the world is set up. Women want to work. So it's not men oppressing women, or it's not the fact that men may not be able to provide a certain lifestyle. Women want certain lifestyles for themselves. So if you want to get married, then you have to become not dependent, but interdependent, and stop trying to shame each other for needing one another. That's the dumbest argument in these spaces. It's like everybody's trying to one-up each other when we need each other. Majority of the population needs each other to sustain an adequate household if you get married. So like I said, and I want to reiterate this for the guys, I know what Kevin Samuel says, we don't need your money. We don't need your money. It sounds good to say, but in the truth of the matter is that the majority of men actually do need their wives to work. But women need to understand that your money is not your money. Your money is the household's money, just like the husband's. So we have to get rid of that whole notion of his money is my money, or our money, and my money is my money. No, it's both of y'all's money, because you need each other. Very simple. Kevin Samuels was not wrong for what he was saying, but it would only apply to the top percentages of men. Because when you make a certain amount of money, you don't need your wife to bring in anything. But that's not the reality for the majority of men in the US or anywhere across the world. So hopefully that makes sense. Guys, if you feel offended, then hey, you offended by the truth. But it is what it is.